And the Queen isn't the only senior member of the royal family now missing tomorrow's Thanksgiving service at St Paul's Cathedral. Buckingham Palace claimed today Prince Andrew tested positive for COVID, giving them a convenient opportunity to avoid a PR disaster. Earlier today, the working royals were in full view at Trooping the Colour. Oh, wasn't it brilliant? But the other royal exiles, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, were in attendance, believe it or not, but they weren't seen as they watched on from a room at the Major General's office at the other end of the Mall. Interestingly, despite it being their big return after turning their backs on the film, the BBC chose not to show a single shot of them. So joining me now with the inside track is royal biographer Tom Bower, who penned a bestseller on Prince Charles, is currently working on a bombshell new book about Meghan. So what did you make of this today, Tom? Do you think it was a purposeful decision by the BBC to show no images of Harry and Meghan? Because that felt very odd to me, because they were there, they were watching. We can see in the photos they were watching.
Well, I think clearly they took an editorial decision. They weren't going to let the Sussexes overshadow the Queen's big day. I mean, they just, for their good reasons, but fortunately, we can tune into your programme and discover the truth.
Well, yeah, although maybe, is this one of these rare occasions, Tom, where we should actually praise the BBC for something? Because actually we didn't really want to see them today, did we?
I did, because I thought it was extraordinary how she thrust herself at the window with her oversized hat and a big smile and lowered the window of the car so she could be seen. And here's this woman who hasn't apologised for all the lies she told on Oprah Winfrey and all the terrible, terrible trouble she's caused the royal family, not least because of the racist allegations. And she just comes over here to promote herself. The one good thing, which I do think is a terrible shame that the Queen can't go to St Paul's, but it does mean that Netflix can't get the pan from Meghan to the Queen. That's cut out now.
Well, indeed, because can we just be honest about why this couple have come over here? They've had a stark realisation over the past few months, haven't they, that these big American companies are only interested in them because of their proximity to the royal family.
Absolutely, and that's what's so interesting, that the moment Harry discovered that his bid to appear on the balcony had been vetoed by the unbelievably wise advisors to the Queen, they suddenly got some sense into them. 18 minutes later, he said he was coming. And I think Harry today would have felt very, very bad. You know, he should have been on parade. He should have been in uniform. That's what his whole life was about. And Meghan has, in that sense, undermined him completely and set him on the track against his own family. And it'll be very interesting to see tomorrow and on Sunday whether they actually can recover and get into the limelight, which is what they badly need for their own financials and status as royal people in America.
But as you say, the bad news for the Sussexes is that the Queen won't be in attendance tomorrow. Presumably they will be seen by the TV cameras walking into St Paul's Cathedral, so their big moment to be at least close to the Queen in public, that's now been scuppered, although I imagine they will be happy that Andrew won't be there, because it's not a particularly good look for the Sussexes, is it, to be pictured alongside Andrew?
But I mean, we don't know which entrance they're going to go into or through, and we don't know where they'll be seated yet. And we don't know whether they'll be in the eye line of Kate and William. I mean, all these things haven't not yet been disclosed. And if the palace, as I say, discovers unexpected wisdom, they'll make sure they're pushed to the side, because I don't think there's much love for them here. I mean, Meghan's approval ratings, I think, are 8% now.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, when you think their last public appearance with the royal family was 2 years ago, that Commonwealth service. And actually, back then, the royal family bent over backwards to make them feel better and protect their egos. Remember, they didn't actually allow Prince William and Kate to enter because they didn't want to offend Harry and Meghan. I actually think it's much better that the courtiers, hopefully backed by Charles and William, have said enough of pandering to the Sussexes.
Well, I think they were pretty shocked with the way that Harry behaved after he called on the Queen on his way to Holland, and in the interview with NBC, effectively said that he didn't miss Charles and William, and said that he was worried that the Queen wasn't properly protected. I think they probably were pretty shocked by that, and that was the moment that, the mist fell. They realised that these couple were just intent on profiting from being royals, but quite determined to damage them. What I think is really very interesting is whether Harry is going to do his worst, a poison pen in his autobiography. I mean, that means a lot, both for his income and for the reputation of the royal family. And we'll just see whether bringing them over here, giving them a hug, letting them even appear, is going to diffuse their anger, or whether it's just going to incite them to do more. Because I don't think Meghan has loyalty for anyone other than herself. I thought it was just extraordinary that when her father fell, as you exposed, with that stroke, she goes to Texas and puts flowers on the shrine of people she doesn't know and doesn't go down to Southern California to see her father. That just shows how self-interested she is.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. Of course, Thomas was meant to be here with us tonight. He was going to be a special correspondent at the Diamond Jubilee. And I just found it so crass that she would go to Texas for what looked like a PR stunt, surrounded by cameras. And it was literally, because I actually put it into my Google Maps just to check, she could have got to her dad in hospital in 3.5 hours. Yeah. There were no cameras at the hospital, Tom. I know that. I was speaking to the family. So she could have got there and seen her dad before she came to the UK.
But come on, the other point is, though, surely, Dan, the sight of her father outside Windsor Castle with your cameras there and Meghan inside would have been pretty explosive. You weren't going to bring him over here just for sentimental reasons. I mean, that was going to make a real big impression. And, of course, the royal family was saved a huge headache by that, unfortunately.
But to defend Thomas on that front, he has been open to meeting with Meghan, as you know, for the past 3 years. So he wasn't coming here to cause the Queen trouble. He actually wanted to pay his respects to the Queen, and it was important for him to see Windsor Castle, something he'd never got the opportunity to visit. But, of course, he does want to meet Harry and Meghan, and he thought, if I'm in the same city, who knows? Well, I think it was unlikely, but who knows? Look, Tom, I just want to show you a beautiful live shot that we've got at the moment from Castle Killyleagh in Northern Ireland, because this is one of the more than 3,000 beacons that have been lit around the world for the Jubilee tonight. And it was great, wasn't it, Tom, to see the Queen able to come out at Windsor Castle today.
It was a fabulous sight, and what was really exciting, I thought, were the crowds on the Mall. I thought it was really Britain at its best. It was Britain united. It was Britain in love with the sovereign. Great tradition, 1,000-year-old monarchy. A great feeling that Britain does have a bond, and it is through the monarch. And I think that was wonderful today. And she looked terrific.
And do you know what? I just want to finally talk about that balcony moment today, because it was really significant. And I think some of the significance of it has maybe been lost, because what we actually saw today was the slimmed-down monarchy that Prince Charles intends to go with. Not only was there no Prince Andrew there was no Eugenie, there was no Beatrice, but there was a real focus on the children of Prince William.
Absolutely. And what is remarkable, what I think people are only beginning now to realise, is that we're going through the transition. I think when I wrote my book on Charles, which was very critical of him about 2 or 3 years ago, the real fear was the Queen would drop dead and Charles is very unpopular. Now, with this gradual handover, the shock is becoming minimised. And I thought he behaved very well on the balcony. He did very well in the parades. Camilla looked good. Kate and William looked sensational. The children. I think that today people will feel more royal than ever before. Yeah. And that's what it's all about.
And to be honest, I didn't look at that balcony scene and think, oh, I wish Harry and Meghan were there. I think we've moved on, actually.
Well, if they had been there would have been no cheers. I mean, that was thankfully...
Well, there may have been boos,
Exactly.
actually.
And thankfully, they kept... Charles and William made sure they weren't there. And that, of course, must have irritated them enormously.
Royal biographer Tom Bale, great to have you. But by the way, is there a name for the Meghan book?
There is, but I'm not telling it to you.
Oh, I cannot wait. So you'll have to come back when it's out, because
Thanks very much.
I've read your books before, Tom. There are always a few explosive revelations.
You won't be disappointed this time.
Excellent, Tom Bale. We'll do come back then.